All right, Tom Brady just retired. So we got to talk about that very briefly here. I mean, we're witnessing the greatest athlete potentially of all time, definitely in our lifetimes. I mean, how can you not like Tom Brady here? Come on, right?
It's funny too. I've been a little bit of a homer on our actual podcast show talking about this, and I've talked about this, I think, on every episode. The disrespect him and LeBron James get, I get it. Like I get it, but you just lost out on one of the greatest careers that you'll ever get to witness. There's no way we're going to see something like that again.
No.
Across any sport.
No.
Right? And I know that people want to throw in like international sports. You got Venus and Serena in tennis, right? They dominated.
Yeah.
But this is the ultimate team sport. To be able to do what he did on a roster of 53 players is insane, man. I'm kind of sad to see him go. I did see that Adam Schefter kind of clarified some of his point, though. He broke the news, but Tom Brady's agent said that he still hasn't come forward and said anything official yet. So yeah. I don't know if that necessarily. I'm with Mina Kimes on this one. We'll bring that name up because Jeff Garcia. It's relevant. Jeff Garcia wants to run his mouth, but Mina Kimes, she might have the hottest take on this at all, right? She said that she goes, I'm just waiting for this production value, this retirement video that's going to come from Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's retiring, right? But yeah, the only reason the announcement hasn't come is because he's probably got Peter Jackson filming his wrap up right now.
Yeah, James Cameron stopped shooting Avatar to shoot Tom Brady's retirement. All right, well, let's get into this, guys. Obviously, we had to talk about that. I mean, it's shocking news. I think he's doing the right thing. Yeah. He's got many years ahead of him as a family man. Just take care of that right now. He doesn't need to come back to the Bucks. Hey, Bucks might get Aaron Rodgers, right? Is that a new opening?
Dude, so last thing, and then I'll let it go. But like Tom Brady was gonna play until he sucked at the sport, and he's just like, Jesus, this is taking too long.
Yeah,
so
I saw
you see that tweet? Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Well, if you want to hear us talking more about this kind of stuff, check out our podcast. We're going to do episode 5 on Tuesday night live. Check us out there. And while you're at it, like and subscribe. Let's get into it. San Francisco going into LA, aka San Francisco South. And look, this is pretty much a pick 'em here. I personally think the 49ers can win this. I think they will win it. It's a 45.5 total. We've brought this up a few times on this show, but the trends in division games after week 10 tend to hit the under. Now, is Vegas incorporating that into their projections here? I have no idea, but I think this could probably hover around the under, maybe hit the over by a few points. So thoughts on this? I mean, are you with me on San Francisco can win this game?
Yes, I think San Francisco can win this game. I think if that happens, though, I think this probably hits the over, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm gonna not necessarily stand firm on that take. This could easily be another 13-10 type of game here or something along those lines. But yeah, I think San Francisco can win this, man. It's going to be strength versus strength. Their pass rush versus the pass blocking line of the LA Rams. So I think whoever wins the battle in the trenches is really going to take this game home. Again, that's some probably shocking news to our viewers. The offensive line matters.
6 straight wins over the Rams the 49ers have. Yeah. And you're looking at, they're in LA, but LA has done a lot to limit the StubHub sales or the ticket sales to LA residents and things like that. So to me, that just kind of proves that they're a little worried, and they're also boosting up the parking prices around the stadium, hoping that that'll deter some from people from out of town driving down and watching. Anyways, my point here is there's not a true home field advantage here in this game. So throw out the home field here. I don't think it really matters. I don't know what else we got. I guess let's just get into it, man. Let's talk about injuries here. So there's really no injuries to really talk about. I mean, technically, Darrell Henderson is on the IR still and could be activated. You know what? I hope he does, because that really muddies things up when it comes to the other two running backs. But he probably won't. Who knows? And I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is also questionable. So we got two running backs on the fringe of even being able to play, or even if they are activated, will they even play? I think Jeff Wilson, if he's active, may actually get some run, because we saw JaMychal Hasty didn't really do much of anything. We're seeing Eli Mitchell get almost all of the touches. He's in 75% of the snaps, and he's getting targeted at the backfield. JaMychal Hasty is cheap, but I think if Jeff Wilson's active at 200, you can consider him. Are you seeing any other injury news on your end?
Not yet. But keep an eye on everything. We need to see who's active. I think that's going to impact some of the depth that we might see at like the LA Rams tight end position. Running backs that are active for Sunday are going to be important for San Francisco. Just really kind of the same stuff that you would normally watch out for these teams. They're very similar to like the Lakers or whatever. They'll just list people as questionable or whatever, but we really need to see who their actives and inactives are. I think that gives us a true picture of what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, we're recording this obviously on Saturday afternoon here, so obviously keep in touch when it comes to the day before, 90 minutes before lock. They're going to come out with an active, so just keep an eye on that. Let's get to the breakdown. Break it down! All right, so Matt Stafford's 10.8K, Jimmy Garoppolo, basement bargain value here at 9K. I want to hear your thoughts on this situation here. Can we do both quarterbacks? Are you targeting one of the other? I mean, I think a majority of the field is going to be playing Stafford. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come way under-owned here. And to me, that is very appealing. So thoughts?
I like both quarterbacks here. I don't think Matt Stafford being in a good spot is too hot of a take. Niners secondary is still pretty thin. I think that there's going to be some advantage for Matt Stafford to go off here. Now, with that in mind, I think I prefer Jimmy G a little bit more. His price at 9K is really nice. He hasn't necessarily been playing lights out by any means.
He's been bad.
Look at those. Yeah, look at those two playoff games right there. I mean, you got 4 and 6 points. That's not good at all. But again, he's 9K. He's at the quarterback position, and he could easily have another touchdown or two if they're not doing these end arounds or whatever to Debo. Right? I mean, think about it, right? If that, instead of it being an under center play and him handing it off, they're running that out of snap or out of shotgun, and it's a forward pitch.
Forward pass, yeah.
Those 19, 20-yard rushing touchdowns Debo gets turns into 4 points for Jimmy G. So I think that's something to keep in mind here. They like that shovel pass. I think they'll use it a little bit and kind of switch things up here against the Rams. But I like Jimmy G a lot here, man. I'm not saying I'm going to have like 70% exposure to him, but I think you can be slightly over the field and really not have to get crazy. I can't see him being more than 30, 35% owned. So throw in 45, 50% of your lineups. And honestly, I think you can comfortably fade Matt Stafford in some of these too, right? You may just want to grab Cooper Kupp and I don't know, some other random Ram, but I think I'm going to try and prioritize the Niners offense here and stack them up with Jimmy G. Yeah,
I agree. Jimmy G has not played well, obviously, but like you said, I mean, last week it was a snow game. No one really scored points in that game. So that was sort of the game script that it fit. They won the game. The week before against Dallas, he wasn't necessarily needed. He was trying to lose that game. So it's risky playing Jimmy G in a lot of lineups. He's probably going to be around 30% owned. And to me, at 9K for a quarterback, that's just too low. And I think throwing him in a couple captain spots as well is a good idea, and stack him with Kittle and Debo and things like that. Run it back with a Kupp and maybe Akers or something like that. But I'm not scared to fade Matt Stafford. He's the best in the league against the blitz. The caveat here is when the blitz turns into actual pressure, he drops considerably. His passer rating drops considerably. So if you can actually get to him in the backfield, that's where problems start to happen. And if we've seen Matt Stafford have his pick six games. He's thrown two interceptions in both matchups this year with the 49ers. He's had also 2 sacks taken in each loss. So when you start to pressure him, that's when he starts to turn into the old Matt Stafford. And for me, I just like the 49ers in this game. I'm going to play heavy Jimmy G, and I might be under the field on Stafford. All right, let's go to running back. Oh, go ahead. What more say?
Yeah, just one more thing on Jimmy G. If the Niners don't win this game, I would bet every dollar I have, knock on wood, that they'll trade him at the end of the season or when they have an opportunity this offseason, right? If they make the Super Bowl, I think there's a chance Jimmy G stays. But this is kind of a career-defining moment for Jimmy G. If he does not win this game, his performance in the playoffs, it's enough to say, yeah, if we had Aaron Rodgers, we're winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very important game. So if you're going to take a risk on it, like today's the day to do it. It could be his last game, and it could be his last game starting for a team that has a playoff aspirations.
I totally agree, man. It's a good point. It's a narrative point here that we can talk about. He's been hit with a shit ton of tweet storm, basically just absolutely bashing him. His teammates have had to come to his basically here is he's winning. And if he can continue to win, he'll probably keep his job. And this might be the biggest game of his career, minus the Super Bowl that he played a few years ago. So narrative wise, I kind of am buying into that. Maybe that's a huge mistake, but I'm going to do it. I don't care. All right. So running backs here, let's start with San Francisco. So to me, the guy that is really not getting any love is Eli Mitchell here. He's 8,200. He's pretty much the same. He's exactly the same price as last week. He didn't really have a great game last week, obviously. But he's gotten over 20 touches in 7 straight games. You know he's going to touch the ball. He's getting involved kind of in the pass game. I really think that Eli Mitchell will be, because of his price, will be like under 30% owned. I think he's a good captain option. He's touching the ball so much, and this team is a run-first team. We haven't seen him do well lately necessarily, but they're going to run the ball more so. That's why they got Debo back there running the ball as well, because they're going to run the ball. Now, like we were talking about in the opening here when it comes to Jimmy G, do I want to pair Jimmy G and Eli Mitchell together? Well, I don't hate it because Eli can get some passes out of the backfield. I still think that Jimmy G can score enough fantasy points, and Eli Mitchell can go off in this game. So let's talk about Eli Mitchell first. Are you interested in him as I am? Because I really do think he's got a shot to break the slate here if he's going to be under 30% owned.
Yeah, absolutely. I like him at captain. I like him at flex. I'll probably have a pretty healthy exposure to him. I think this is a good opportunity for him. We know that Kyle Shanahan is a run first team, and this defensive line for the Rams is built for the pass rush. I mean, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Leonard Floyd, right? So you can take advantage of an aggressive pass rushing team by attacking really with the zone run, right? You're going to create gaps on the defensive line by having Aaron Donald 7 yards up the field before the ball snapped.
Yeah.
So I think that really is going to help open up some holes for Eli Mitchell. And I like him, man, at 8,200, especially with sub 30% ownership. Like that's a bit low for me in my projection, right? Like I think you should be closer to 40 or 45.
Yeah, and the reason why is because Cam Akers, we'll get to him in a second, is $1,200 cheaper or so. I think, what is he, 7K or something like that, Cam Akers is? And he's projected for like 5-6 more fantasy points. So Eli Mitchell is just going to get forgotten about. And he might be, when we think about Eli Mitchell in this game, we think, the Rams defense, their defensive line is great. But like you just said, they're more built for the pass rush. So Kyle Juszczyk, 1,600. JaMychal Hasty, 600. Jeff Wilson, 200. Now, here's where things get interesting, because typically speaking, you're talking about the backup running back being an option in Showdown, especially for a team that's run heavy. But the backup running back is Deebo Samuel here. So So it's a little scary to go after any of these guys. JaMychal Hasty didn't really get the run that we would think he would as a backup because Debo's getting those snaps. The one guy I would consider here is Kyle J, 1,600. When I did my initial crunches based on projections, he's projected for around 5 fantasy points median projection wise, and at 1,600, that's not bad. He was in a ton of my lineups simply because Kupp was at captain, and you got to pay down in the flex. So I think Kyle J is an option. Jeff Wilson, if he's active at $200, why not, man? Jeff Wilson, this guy's good, man. Mm-hmm. Jeff Wilson could easily be the starter on this team if Eli Mitchell didn't step up. So thoughts on these other 3 guys here? Any interest in Wilson, Kyle J, or Hasty?
Not particularly. I'm not necessarily as high on Kyle J as you. Granted, when I say that, I know you're talking about maybe 5% exposure, so I don't want to get crazy here. But I'm not entirely disinterested in Hasty or Wilson though. $200-$600. If they are active, they could get a little bit of run, and I don't mind taking a stab at that price. I think they usually sit closer to like 1,200 or maybe even a little bit higher. I think Hasty was like 2,200 on one slate, but if they're in that price range under 1,000, I don't mind random stabs, but again, probably not more than 1 or 2 lineups. I'm going to prioritize Mitchell and then probably fade the rest of this group.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm willing to take stabs on Kyle J because he's in the game so much. And the coaches love him, absolutely love him. He's in the game quite a bit, and he can do a lot of things. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's going to be my low-owned pick for touchdown scored in this game. We'll just cut to the spoilers here. All right, so let's go and talk about the Rams running backs here. So this is on paper it seems easy. Cam Akers is $7K. He's probably going to get over 20 touches, most likely. Sony Mitchell has sort of been faded out of the offense with Cam Akers coming back, playing well. I know he had 2 fumbles last week. He basically lost him the game. If it wasn't for Cooper Kupp and the Tampa Bay defense not guarding the best receiver in the NFL, there's a chance the Rams lose that game, and he is absolutely being destroyed right now. So the happiest guy in the room is Cam Akers. My point here is, with some of these older coaches like Bruce Arians and Andy Reid, usually they're punishing guys for fumbles and they don't trust them. Is that going to happen here? Is Cam Akers going to get any punishment? Is he actually going to see more carries?
Yeah, I don't think that Sean McVay is the same kind of coach that BA and Andy Reid are. I don't expect him to really get punished here. There's a lot to say for how well Cam Akers has performed with his first taste of really leading an NFL running or backfield being in the NFL playoffs, right? So I think that
playoffs.
I think he deserves a little bit of credit for that. Now, with that said, he also played against the best rush defense in the NFL last week against a Tom Brady-led team. And I don't know how to account for it, but we've all seen enough Tom Brady to know that there's always a little bit of magic and bad breaks that are going to happen on the other side of the ball when you're playing against him.
Yeah.
So, you can't discredit any of that. I think that they'll probably be working on fumble drills all week here, but Cam's looked good, man. He's looked explosive. He's looked powerful. He's looked fast. He's getting involved in the pass game. He's running clean routes. He passes the eye test for me, man. It's hard for me to think that Sony Michel has any chance to get any love over him, just considering the way that he's been playing.
Yeah, I mean, he passes the eye test. I agree with you here. But where I disagree with you is he's not putting up the numbers. Now,
right.
He's got 10 fantasy points against the Cardinals. He looked amazing, and they dominated. They were absolutely dominating that game. He has 10 fantasy points. Against Tampa Bay, he looked great. He had 7.8 fantasy points. I know he had 2 fumbles, but what is he going to, so he'll have 9.8 fantasy points? To me, I get what you're saying. And if one of those plays goes a different way, maybe he just scores a touchdown or something, and then we're having a different conversation here. But for me, he looks great. He's just not putting up the numbers. Can he in this game? Absolutely. I'm more likely to fade him because I think, median projecting him at 17, 18 fantasy points, which some of these sites are doing, he hasn't scored that. He hasn't even gotten 17 fantasy points this year. Like, why are we giving him so much credit here, and we're not giving Eli Mitchell any credit? I don't get it when it comes to these projections, and I'm going to take advantage of that because he's going to be jammed into 50+% of the lineups, I think, because he's 7K. So I'm just going to I'm just going to try to get the leverage on this. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. Granted, we need to pay attention to where the ownership projections land here, because right now I'm seeing him pretty close to what Eli Mitchell's ownership is. If that's the case, like I don't mind. I'm going to be even on both of them. But if he starts approaching that 45-50% mark, then I think it is okay to come under. And this might be a unique situation again. You might be able to just throw him in a captain and not play him all at all in the flex, right? This might just be a game where you fade both running back fields, both backfields for the most part, and just start throwing in wide receivers. So we'll see how we build when we get there.
While we're talking about running backs here, so on Twitter, Cody Main, this guy's a great follow. He talks a lot about Showdown and the numbers of the winning lineups here. So basically what he's saying is how many same team pass catchers should we roster with captain running backs? And in this case, the numbers are coming out to saying pretty much one. Like the top 1% lineups are getting 53% of one wide receiver from the same team. So something to keep in mind here. It's not a hard and fast rule, but over time, these numbers have leveled out to be. You're not going to put Van Jefferson, ODB, and most likely and have Cam Akers in the captain spot. So maybe we'll think about that when we're building. We'll try to limit the pass catchers on the same team. All right. So any interest in like guys like Darrell Henderson if he's active?
What's he priced at?
2,800.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 2,800 if he's active. I doubt that he's gonna be, but 2,800 I don't mind him. I'm of the mind. I'm looking at Cam Akers and Eli Mitchell. Really, beyond that, I am not getting crazy at all with any of these backfields.
Yeah.
When I talk about 2,800 Darrell Henderson, like I'm talking about maybe a lineup or two if I really want to get crazy. And
something to bring up too is Cooper Kupp is basically getting these short run plays that you would typically throw to a running back out of the backfield. He's getting these 5-6 yard slants. He's getting targeted in both deep down the field as well, but they're not really utilizing these third down running backs like other teams typically would because they have a guy like Cooper Kupp. All right, speaking of Cooper Kupp, 12.2K. Expensive AF, Odell Beckham, 8,600, Van Jefferson, 5K. And you know what? I'll actually include Ben Skowronek here just because he's $200. So I don't think we really need to talk about much with Cooper Kupp. Play him. Even if he has a bad game, he's going to get you 120 yards probably or more, 7-8 receptions. To me, I'm not going to target him at the captain spot. At 12.2K, it really limits what you can do in the flex. You have to fade a big player like Debo or fade one of the quarterbacks, which I might not want to do. So thoughts on Cooper Kupp, and then let's move on to these other three guys. Play Cooper Kupp as much as you can. And that's the show. See you guys next time. Odell Beckham, 8,600. The matchup in previous games here, Odell Beckham... Basically, he only had 18 receiving yards in each of the losses this year in 2 games against San Francisco. Do we want to read into that too much? I don't think so, because now he's a little bit different of a player, and they've incorporated him a little bit better. 8,600 is a little steep for him, though, man. I could pay $400 more and get Jimmy G. Yeah, I think this might just be, again, another one of those situations where he might be better suited playing him in a captain than getting him in a flex. We're going to have to punt somewhere, and maybe kind of just having a low mid-tier captain option is the way to kind of balance out, so we don't have to play a guy like Ben Skowronek or Brandon Powell or I don't know, Jeff Wilson, right? So I think Odell Beckham makes for an interesting captain option. Beyond that, I just don't know how I can justify prioritizing him over 7,400 George Kittle. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Yeah. I think the only reason I'll have a little bit more exposure to him is if his ownership projections stay 20% or lower. If he's that low, then I think you can get some decent leverage by,
playing him at 25-30% of the flex.
I really think he'll be popular, in my opinion, because he's ODB, old dirty bastard. And I really think he will be popular because of recency bias. He's done well. And I don't think that that's wrong necessarily. Now, look, I'm looking at Van Jefferson here. Fantasy Cruncher is saying he's questionable. I didn't see it on some of the other sites I was looking at when I was looking into this, but keep an eye on that. If Van Jefferson plays, I do like him at 5K. He's got home run ability. He earlier in the year he was a bigger threat, and once Odell Beckham sort of took over that outside role, Van Jefferson's stock has gone down a little bit. But 5K, you got to talk about him. Ben Skowronek, 200. Maybe sprinkle into a few lineups. Any interest in these guys before we move on?
No.
All right, let's do that then. Let's move on to San Francisco. So we got Deebo Samuel, 10K. So he's $2.2 thousand cheaper than Cooper Kupp. Do I think that Deebo can outscore Cooper Kupp in this game? Absolutely. I really do think that. It's possible. And the fact that he's that much cheaper, I like him as a captain option quite a bit, especially in a situation where he can rush the ball and he will get opportunity to rush the ball, especially around the goal line potentially in some trick plays. So Deebo at 10K, Brandon Ayuk at 6,200, Juwan Jennings 2,200. You got Trent Sherfield 200, and Mohamed Sanu is back at 200. So I don't know if Mohamed Sanu can make any impact, but earlier in the year he was getting some run as a solid number 3 guy potentially. So what do we do here, man? Are you interested in pairing two of these guys together with the Jimmy G stack?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, like I want to call this out for Deebo real quick though. Last game versus LA, 28.96 fantasy points. He had a passing touchdown. Earlier in the season against LA, let's see, 30.3 passing touch or 30.3 fantasy points. Jesus. 5 rushing attempts and a rushing touchdown. Like, it sounds like he just likes to beat the shit out of LA. So again, I might even like him a little bit more than Cooper Kupp. That price saving that you get there is pretty nice, but I think you just have to make a rule, right? You either have Deebo or Cooper Kupp in every single lineup. Like, I don't even know if you need to include Jimmy or George Kittle in that. Like, you just need either Samuel or Kupp in every single lineup, just the way that it's looking right now.
At least one, and most likely 2.
Yeah. And then to answer the question that you actually asked me, I think, I'm absolutely comfortable pairing Jimmy G up with Deebo and Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk at 6,200. Man, we're just going to have a list of captains at the end of the show here. But I like him at captain at 6,200. I mean, he could easily, he's the number 1 pass guy right now. Like, their wide receiver. Deebo is just everything, right? But Brandon, he's going to be their possession receiver. He's going to be getting a decent amount of targets, so I like him. And then Sanu, Benjamin, Sherfield, not entirely interested in, but Juwan Jennings at 2,200. That's about where I would like him to be priced. I have a little bit of interest in him there.
2 touchdowns against the Rams in Week 18.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think that he has the opportunity to do something here. So 2,200, I'll take some stabs there. I think you can kind of just rotate all 3 of these pieces and grab Deebo, Juwan, Brandon, Juwan, and I don't know. Yeah, you get it.
If I had to choose between one of these $200 guys, I'm going Mohamed Sanu, but we just don't know what his impact is going to be. But don't forget about him, because I think he's an actual, you could sprinkle him into a few lineups here. And if he gets you a couple receptions, you might be okay. To me, Brandon Ayuk is a guy that's going to be forgotten about on this slate. Another guy that will be forgotten about, along with Eli Mitchell. But Brandon Ayuk more so. Is there a chance that this dude is like less than 20% owned, Ayuk?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's possible. I just think everybody's going to be homers here and try and take Stafford, Kupp, Deebo, probably Kittle, and then from there you're pretty much stuck with salary. So I think that people are going to be forced to not play Brandon Ayuk, and I don't know, man. He could crush.
Yeah, because you could pay up and just get Cam Akers, so people aren't going to play him. So George Kittle, tight end, 7,400. Ross Dwelly 200. 7,400 for George Kittle. Look, he hasn't played necessarily well. Like, he hasn't really been lighting it up. That could be a reflection of the quarterback play on this team. Last week he did have 10 fantasy points. He dropped a big ball early in that game. But look, he hasn't been doing well. He had a stretch of 4 games where he was under 6 fantasy points. But we know his ceiling. We see that 42 there. We know he's got and 37. We know he can absolutely crush it. I don't know, man. Is this going to be another week that George Kittle loses me all my money?
Probably. As long as he's priced at 7,400, he's going to fucking lose us money. Like, I don't know what to tell you. How did we feel about Gabe Davis? Like, this isn't even the same scenario. You know what I mean? We played Gabe Davis all season and then didn't last week, right?
Yeah.
But George Kittle's George Kittle. Like, I will play him at captain, at flex, whatever. He's 7,400. There's no reason to not do it.
Yeah, I'm going to be way over the field on him. I really think that he could.
Are you seeing this RG ownership projection, man? That's nonsense.
For him?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
I have him under 40.
Under 40%. That's criminal. I'm gonna have a lot of him. If that really holds up, I'm gonna have a ton of him. All right, let's move over to the other side. You got what's his bucket Higbee and Kendall Blanton. Is it? Wait, is that the right name?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, it is.
I don't know. Why did I think it was Hinton? Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. 1K for Blanton. I'm not considering him. He had a random touchdown last week, I believe. I don't really care about him. He should be $200, but he scored and now he's 1,000. Tyler Higbee's 5,200. He's this kind of guy that you just kind of forget about every week, although he can be a game changer. To me, look, last week I faded him. He started the game off well with a couple receptions on that. I think that opening drive, 9 fantasy points, 7 fantasy points. This is a captain guy for me. I fade him in the flex or I put him at captain. If he gets you 23 fantasy points, like he did against San Francisco last time, and you have him at 5,200 in the captain spot, you're probably feeling pretty good. So, interest in Higbee?
Not really. I think I'd probably take Van Jefferson over him kind of at that price. And then just real quick, so you got him confused with Kendall Hinton, who is a wide receiver on the Broncos.
Oh,
I had to look it up because I was just as confused.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But no, I really don't give a shit about the tight end position on LA. Higbee's fine if you need somebody around that price range, and I don't know, you need a pass catcher from LA, but I'm not going to be prioritizing him in any capacity.
All right, so kickers, we've got Robbie Gould hit a Adam Vinatieri-like clutch field goal in the snow to send him to the NFC Championship game. You got Matt Gay, who's been playing well, also won him the game last week. 3,600 and 3,800. We've been seeing these kickers at 4,200, 4,400, 4K. So this $3,800 range, we'll see when we're building, but this might be a solid last piece to fit in with these kickers. We're in a dome. I'll say that in quotation marks here, because there are some open wind areas here. We saw it earlier in the year. They had to postpone or delay a game a little bit because of lightning. I don't think that really matters too much, but Robbie Gould, Matt Gay, any more interest than usual?
Yeah, I like these prices. Saving about $400-$200 is helpful. Just the same thing that we said last night, though. Just keep in mind, this is the NFC Championship game. You need to determine what team you think is going to be ahead, because that team's more likely to be okay taking field goals. But these are also very aggressive head coaches.
Yeah.
We could absolutely see them take the more analytical approach and aggressive approach and go for it on these 4th and shorts and that middling field goal range. So I do think we'll see a little bit of that. But I don't mind taking stabs on these guys at this price.
Rams 4,600, 49ers 4K. I think you have to consider the Rams, because will we see a Matt Stafford pick 6 game potentially? It could happen, so you got to kind of consider the 49ers defense. The Rams obviously have to consider them going up against a guy like Jimmy G, who can absolutely give the game away. They're a little bit priced up more than I would like, especially since we need more value. So you're going to have to fit them into that like second to last spot if you do put them in. But any interest in them, they're probably, I don't know, 15 to 20% owned probably each.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to have some exposure to both guys, or both defenses. I think that the 49ers have a chance to win this game, and I think that they're going to do that defensively. I do think there's an opportunity for them to do it offensively and for it to hit the over. But if they win this game, it's probably going to be because their defense stepped up. So that could easily be points off of turnover, points off of special teams. So I actually like the 49ers, especially at that 4K price tag. And then same thing with the Rams, right? Jimmy G sucks sometimes, and he can go out and turn the ball over. They could get a bunch of sacks here, which all that adds up. If we're looking at another 13-10 game, you might actually need to have both defenses, a kicker, and I don't know, Debo at captain or something along those lines. So just really pay attention to what you think is going to happen tomorrow, and then build accordingly, and make sure that you're not sleeping on really any of these positions.
And if you think you're going to do onslaughts like 5-1s or 4-2s, you might want to try to include the defense in those onslaughts for that team as well. Because I personally just don't think this is going to be a shootout. It could be wrong, but division rivalry to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, that just feels like a hard-fought, lower scoring game. All right, let's go to our fades here. Ellie, you don't really have any fades. If you had a gun to your head and you had to be under the field heavily on one guy, who do you think it would be?
I don't know if I'd say one guy. I kind of just positionally, the only people that I'm interested at the running back spot is Eli Mitchell and Cam Akers. Beyond that, I really don't have any interest.
So backup running backs, you're probably just not interested in. I agree with you there. For me, Rams running backs, simply because I think that Cam Akers will be over-owned considering what he's shown fantasy points-wise this year. And I don't think Sony Michel will get much run. And if Darrell Henderson is active, that just muddies the waters even more so. So for me, Rams running backs, my fate of the night. And pray for me on that one because we could see Cam Akers break out in this game. All right, let's go with our captain choice, our crown their ass.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Big surprise. Ellie's going with Kittle. I'm going with Debo. Any other options here that you would consider? I know we brought it up during the show, but if people are skipping around, what other guys are you thinking for captain?
Eli Mitchell, Cam Akers, Brandon Ayuk. Let's see. I think that really might be it. I might have a lineup or two at Cooper Kupp, and then I don't know. I think Odell Beckham Jr. might have one or two captain lineups.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we're consolidating here at the top. I like Debo and Kittle a lot, man.
And I think Eli Mitchell will be my other option because I think he's just going to be so low owned in the captain spot and forgotten about. For a guy who's going to get 20 plus touches, he could end up with 2 touchdowns, and we're going to have him a captain with at that price tag. All right, let's get into a lineup build, man. Let's do it. Let's switch over to lineup HQ, and let's just see what the optimize button does for us. Cam Akers at captain. Ben Skowronek, Ayuk, Samuel, Stafford, and Kupp. Not really loving that, simply because
not for me.
Yeah, not really loving that. So let's build our own here. So let's build a Cooper Kupp lineup and see what we can do because Cooper Kupp will be 25+% probably owned in the captain. So we got to get some exposure to him, and we got to try to figure out how we can build with him. So Stafford in the flex with Kupp. Actually, you don't necessarily have to because of the PPR aspect to this. But do you want to throw Stafford in here, or what are your thoughts?
Let's actually throw in. I know you just talked about not playing him, but I think we can. I would rather fade Stafford. Let's throw in Cam Akers, and then you want to try a 2-4 run back with Cooper captain and see how hard that is to build.
Yeah, let's do it, dude. Let's go Debo, obviously. Do we want to go Eli Mitchell?
Yeah, throw Eli in.
We can't do Kittle, so you could take Eli Mitchell out and put Kittle in as well. But like I said,
how about this?
Go ahead.
Jawan Johnson and then Robbie Gould. We should be able to do that.
Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. Jawan Johnson's on the Saints. God damn it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's another guy that broke out this year. Robbie Gould. Yep, there you go. So
I don't necessarily like. Yeah, I don't necessarily like fading both quarterbacks, but this isn't terrible, man. I don't necessarily hate this.
Let's see here. $200. Like we were talking about earlier. Like if Jeff Wilson is active, I don't mind messing with him a little bit. All right, let's move over to our picks here for captain. So let's start out with Kittle. Let's see how easy this is or not easy to build. Do you want to throw Jimmy G in this one?
Yeah, let's throw in Jimmy G and Cup.
Is this a Debo?
Well, let's fade Debo just because we have Kittle at captain. Okay. Let's go with Brandon Ayuk.
Okay. Ayuk. Let's try to get a couple more Rams in here. We got 11.5K for 2 spots. We can do Cam Akers and a kicker probably.
Well, throw in Stafford actually.
All right, let's try it. Let's
just see what
$700 left. So that gets us Jermichael Hasty. Go ahead.
I don't mind throwing in Mohamed Sanu here. To be honest with you,
I kind of like him. I kind of like him in this game. Let's kill Stafford. Let's do a little bit more of a even build here. I mean, honestly, like I know I don't love Cam Akers, but it just kind of works out here because now you can get the kickers. So you can get Gould or Gay. That's a solid lineup. You're really only kind of guessing or punting on Ayuk, and obviously Jimmy G is a risk, but Ayuk is the kind of guy that can get you 0, or he can get you 30.
How about this? Can take out Ayuk, go up to Eli Mitchell, and we're probably gonna have to pull Cam after this too.
Oh, you got 2,500.
And then, well, let's throw in the Rams defense, or not the Rams defense, the Niners defense.
Okay. 5,500. Higbee, Van Jefferson, Sony Michel, or both defenses.
Yeah, I kind of like Robbie Gould or Matt Gay. Matt Gay, probably.
So you're leaving a little bit on the table, but yeah, it's not bad. Or you could go Higbee here.
I mean, if you do that, you can actually... Well, hold on. Go back to Matt Gay.
Okay.
Can you come off of Eli and get to Debo?
You can. There you go. That's nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's nice right there. I like that a lot. Let's go over to Debo at captain. See what we can do.
Yes. I think I'm going to end up with a little bit more Debo at captain than I thought, man. I'm just starting to like him a lot more for this game.
I know. Optimize. Let's just see what happens when we optimize. Juwan Jennings, Ayuk, Kittle, Akers. That's interesting. It's not terrible. I don't know that I want to put Ayuk and Debo in the same lineup, but I don't hate that. Let's try to get Jimmy.
4 pass catchers without the quarterback.
Hear me out here. Let's try to get Jimmy G, and then let's go Eli Mitchell. I want to capture all the rushing here, and then Jimmy G, if we do get a random touchdown to one of these other wide receivers, we could still capture those points. Where do we want to go from here? Cup, right?
Yeah.
We can afford it. It's going to be a little bit difficult here. I think what we do is we get a kicker or something. We can get a kicker and Kyle J.
Okay.
Any interest in that? We're capturing all the rushing attack for a team that is literally the top rushing team in the NFL.
I would just go Matt Gay.
Matt Gay instead. Yeah, I feel you. So let's get rid of Gould. Let's go Matt Gay. I like this.
Yeah, this is interesting. So let's try this. What if we come off of Cup and go Stafford instead? What does that give us to kind of mess around with Gay and Kyle?
That gives us 7K. So we can, if we wanted to go Kyle J still, or if we wanted to completely punt and go down to Hasty or one of these other $200 guys, that probably gets us like Ayuk or Higbee again.
What about Hinton? If we throw him in, what kind of other Rams can we get? No, that's
Blanton.
not going to do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Blanton.
You can get Higbee and Blanton.
So, okay, what about throwing Van?
Okay. 2K.
2K.
Kyle J.
Okay, so we're back to Kyle. Yeah.
So this is the kind of stuff. This isn't bad building with Debo, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. The problem you're going to run into is you're probably not going to be able to get Stafford and Cup unless you completely just punt on a couple spots. Let's try that real quick with Debo. Let's put Stafford in. Let's put Cup in. That's just a safe route for me. I feel like you put those two guys together, you're probably going to be okay.
And then throw in Eli. Let's fade Jimmy in this one.
Yeah, I like Eli Mitchell here. So 3,800. Let's go down to a guy like Jeff Wilson or something. Now, obviously, Jeff Wilson's questionable. We don't know if he's going to play. It's a total risk, but yeah, there it is. 3,600, Matt Gay.
Yeah.
And this $200 guy can be anyone. Sanu, it could be Travis Benjamin, whoever. What do we got here? That's a 3-3? That's not bad, dude. It's not bad. Do you want to build with somebody else? You want to build with like a fuck it guy? You want to build with Eli Mitchell?
Yeah, let's throw an Eli Mitchell captain.
All right, let's do it.
And then I want Debo again.
Yeah, I'm going to have 100% Debo. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Debo, let's put in Cup. So that leaves us 15.5 for 3 spots. Not bad. What do we want to do? Jimmy G here?
No, let's go. Yeah, no, throw in Jimmy G.
That leaves us in a good spot, I think.
Throw in Jawan Jennings.
And 4,300 gets us a 49ers defense. Not terrible. Or you just go to Robbie Gould or Matt Gay.
Yeah.
Hey, this isn't bad. Like the other show that we did with the Bengals and the Chiefs, we thought it was going to be really difficult. It actually turned out to be not so difficult. I feel the same way with this game. If it was me, I'm going to target more the running game for the 49ers. I'm going to stack 4 49ers in a lot of lineups. I'm going to have Cup as one of the other guys and probably just try to punt in that last spot or something. So what are you thinking, man, when it comes to you building on Sunday afternoon? What are you going to be doing here?
So I think what we learned kind of during that breakdown was we're going to need to make a decision on if we're playing Stafford or Cup, and then or if we're going to be playing Debo in one of those two, right? So you're not going to be able to have 3 out of 3 for most of the builds if you're looking to be balanced. So that's the one thing that I'm going to be looking at. I think I'm going to be more comfortable fading Matt Stafford than I was initially coming into the show. So yeah. I think that's going to be my primary strategy for Sunday. And let's hope it doesn't bite me in the ass.
I think the 49ers can really threaten Matt Stafford in this game. They can rile him up and put him on the ground. And he doesn't do well when he's got pressure. He does well against the blitz, but not when he's getting hit. And I think the 49ers can win this game. I'm going to say this is like a 21-17 49ers win, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I got 24-21. I'll go with Niners too.
I'm thinking the under. And I don't know. Look, this is tough as Cardinals fans. We're seeing the NFC West to go to the Super Bowl. Teams that we did well against. But I just think the 49ers are hot right now. And I know LA is hot too, but look, they were this close to sitting at home and Tom Brady not being retired. So we have
By the way, that they're pulling back that news. It may have been a bad report. I guess Tom Brady reached out to the owner and said he'll let him know when he retires.
What?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hey, I still think he's going to retire. I think you're right. He just wants to go out on his own terms as far as his own announcement. Hopefully. I don't know. I think he's retired. I actually think it's a great idea for him. All right, guys. Comment. When we hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to go through the last couple shows, all the comments. I'm going to scrape all those comments and randomly give away the Joe Burrow and the Justin Herbert select rookie cards. So comment down below your favorite captain choice, your favorite value play. And once we hit 500, I will give that away. All right, we will see you guys later. And I guess the next time we'll see you guys is we're going to be doing a Super Bowl first look sometime next week. And then we'll obviously be doing a big Super Bowl show like the day before probably. So hit subscribe, help us out. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.